Today we're going to create a map for a nice peaceful farming town. As always, we went to our big world map and picked a location to create a town for. We went for somewhere in Antiquenia, which is a more traditional styled fantasy nation. When it came to generating inspiration for this city's schematics, I would lean on my experience staying on the outskirts of Salzburg. I went to Salzburg like 3 or 4 years ago, and it was like a very interesting experience because I live in Sydney, which is just sort of suburbs. And one of the things I noticed about the town, which was very different to sort of anywhere else I'd ever really been, was that the town very much was like clump road of like 200 meters, and there was like farms on the side, and then there was another like pocket of like 50, 60 houses with towns. And I'd never like seen that sort of style of town, I guess. Everywhere I've lived, it might have that sort of same energy, but it's very much sort of like the fields are still lines of houses. And I think maybe that's what we can do here. So these patches are going to represent where the houses are going to go. Using real cities or town design can obviously make for great building blocks, and we'd start here creating small dirt clumps that signify the small communities all connected by roads. To kick off adding detail, I wanted to dive into a specific community, and to me it made sense to have the main road into town instantly leading to a market area with a nice public courtyard in the middle. This is something I've done before, but it really just wasn't coming together for this map at first, at least. And a big reason was my attempts to integrate cobblestone into the map. Is this anything? Is it good? Don't think it's either of those. I feel like I have a vision and it's just not connecting. Let's actually keep it. And let's see if we can if we add in the houses, it's going to come together. Like if we add in more markets, it makes the vision work. Because at the moment it's not. And that's fine. Sometimes things don't work, and you workshop them and you keep trying, and then they come together. So we're definitely in that process of trying to workshop and make it come together. I would also lean on my experience with map making to avoid getting stuck overly focused on a section I couldn't get to work. I have a vision and it isn't coming together. Me, D&D, and map making. Hey, yeah. But I do have faith. I mean, like, I've made so many maps at this point. Oh, I've made so many maps. And I've made so many quests. I've made well over 200 maps. I know I always feel this way at the start of the map making, and I just got to keep pushing, like just keep going. Because if I like slow down or freeze or like start to get in my own head about it or any such thing, then I know, it doesn't come together, and all I'm doing is like making the progress slower. And the truth is, it's like, yeah, I just started. Of course, it's gonna look kind of whack. Like it's not gonna look good. And that's okay, because you're gonna keep working at it. You're gonna keep putting in the effort. And when you do that, then it's gonna start to look a lot better. So that's where my head's at with it. The intrusive thoughts can take a step back. Not today, buckaroo. Not today. When placing market stalls down, one didn't quite fit on the dirt patch, so I'd quickly add some more dirt. A simple solution, obviously, and not noteworthy, right? Well, I wanted to mention it because I often get tempted to take my previous work, my blueprint structure, as absolute gospel and will avoid changing it at all costs. Rather, I'll choose to change my current design to fit in with whatever exists. But this can make things unnecessarily hard or take too much time, so being open to changing any of your work is a great mindset to keep. And I would only adopt this mindset after well over a minute of me trying to find a building that would fit neatly into that little slither of dirt I'd created. Moving forth, in my venture to add details to this map, I also decided we'd add people, which I don't always do. In fact, mostly I don't, but in this case, it felt like the map needed something more and wasn't meshing well. So people would work as a nice glue to make it feel that bit more alive and real. Continuing on to the rest of the intended small communities, I'd abandon the cobblestone roading and go with the classic of all classics, a two-tone dirt situation. I'd follow this up by placing buildings on the clump, but still, the map wasn't really coming together as I would hope. Let's go through this town and let's try to make this work a little bit more, because at the moment it's looking kind of whatevs, right? And I think maybe the strategy is I'm gonna actually spread these out a little bit more. So I'm gonna actually have like less clumps. I think the clumps kind of worked a bit, and they kind of like gave me some direction. They kind of gave me some good footing to start with, but I don't know how much they're gonna hold up in the long term, which is okay. So I think we can have some clumps like this over here, but then we can have some sort of bit more sporadic sort of like groupings like this, where it's like smaller
There's more space between them. Yeah, so I think what we'll do is like, I just have been feeling a little bit strange about these enclaves. And I think we can have a couple of them, but I think they don't all need to be like that. So what we'll do is we'll go through and we'll actually sort of get rid of some of this. Get rid of some of it like this. And yeah, go through and make it a bit more specific to these little areas, I guess. And that's okay. It's like, I definitely just made moves at the start for the sake of making moves. That was good for making progress, but now we can sort of go back on them. You know, now we can go back and we can sort of figure some of the specifics out that we want. Like this. And, you know, I think this is actually creating sort of like more organic shapes in a lot of ways. And I think it's turning out good.
Splitting up the groupings and having some small clusters was working really well, so we'd take it one step further.
At the moment, the map is obviously so empty, and the reason is because we haven't added many of the farms, but we can definitely, like, adding in these extra towns and stuff is just really gonna like fill it out a lot more and make it have that sort of like sense that this is like very much a town that people live in.
I'd also take the time to make sure the road's actually connected to the houses, which isn't necessary. But it's an example of how putting the extra effort into small details can really elevate the look of a map and really make the town feel more lived in. All of this makes for a great base, but there's more to do.
This is going decently. And I think what we can do is we can just do the big fill out of this map, right? And there's two things that we can do to fill it out. We're gonna A, put farms, and B, put trees. And when we do all that, it's gonna look a lot more full and it's gonna look a lot better.
This worked exactly as I thought it would. Having more farms and some trees made the map look better. Shocking. But it wasn't until Garda made an amazing suggestion when it really started to gel.
Small hills? Yes. Fuck yes. Oh my God. I was so excited about that. Like it really made me excited. I was like, yes, that is very much what it is. That is perfect. There was something on my mind, which I like usually do. And I was like, I just can't think of it. But I know there's something I like lean on a lot. And it is absolutely hills. So fuck yeah. Thank you so much for such a good suggestion.
With much of the big picture stuff in place, we'd go through and add lots of little details. This includes more people, lanterns, hay piles, barrels, wagons, anything we could do to make the town more than just buildings and nature.
Awesome. I think that's basically done. There are things we could add. You know, we could add maybe some stuff in there or some stuff up here. And there are small tweaks we can make, but overall, I'm really happy with this map. I do think it's become like an interesting detailed mix of like hills and farms and trees. And I really like the way these like little pockets have sort of come out. We have a few sort of little alcoves that I think all tell stories. And I like the way we've also mixed in a couple of these individual houses, right? A house up here, two down here, little one here, right? It's a good mix of like, there's a central hub and there's smaller central hubs. Then there's sort of these individual little pockets spread around the map as well. And that's cool to me.
And with this, I said, I'm done. And then I just kept working on the map, adding in some bushes and flowers, making every pocket of it feel full. Until eventually I put my foot down and decided it was time to move on to the next map, a battle map in the forest. Which is sometimes necessary to do so you don't just spend forever on one map. And that's the video. If you enjoy map making, subscribe to the channel for more of it coming soon. Check out some of my other content to see some pretty similar map creation sort of stuff. Jump onto the Patreon to support the channel and to get access to this map and so many more. Join us on the Twitch to help us create this stuff live. Thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye.